Hello and welcome to the Big Three podcast with Adarsh and Adam, bringing you all things cricket. Today we'll be looking at the Champions Trophy, analysing each game in the tournament, predicting the results for each match, and also producing each of our 11 best Champions Trophy 11s. Okay, great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I hope
Yeah,
the same's with you.
yeah, not bad. Thanks, not bad. Yeah. So do you want to look at all the fixtures then and
Yeah,
give our kind of predictions?
yeah. Let's get into them.
So the first one is Wednesday. What are you thinking in that game?
Uh, my thinking goes as far as I think that Pakistan, just because it's the pilot of the tournament, they
Mm,
want to not disappoint their home
yeah,
fans. So I expect Pakistan to win that game because it's in Karachi, right? And it'll be a high
yep.
scoring game. And New Zealand are more suited to, obviously, they're more suited to seam friendly conditions, but I don't
Mm.
think that they're as well braced for Karachi as Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah. So it's Pakistan, New Zealand in Karachi, like you say. I think home advantage will pay off. I know New Zealand did really well in the Tri Nations tournament that's just gone, but I think Pakistan will win. I'll give them home advantage. I agree with you. I think Pakistan.
Yeah. And on the second game, which is
Mm.
Bangladesh versus India, who do you think will come out as victors? Like, it's a question which is to be asked. Like, what color is the sky? I think
Yeah,
it's
I
a similar
think it
kind
is.
of question at this point.
It is. I think that's an obvious, very comfortable India win. Really, that Bangladesh never, or hardly ever turn up for these tournaments. Always very disappointing. And India are probably the best white ball side in the world at the moment. So I
How do
think
you
that's a
think the
comfortable.
Dubai pitch will play?
I think it'd be harder than the Pakistani pitches. I think. Do you? But I don't know how much more it will turn. Um, I suppose if I were a batter, I'd rather play in the Karachi ones.
They tend to
Going by
get
what I've
funky,
seen.
don't they? Because you have
Yeah,
some pitches in Dubai which just go through and they're swinging and seaming
yeah.
all the way around, and then you've got pitches where it starts taking turn and it's like really slow. You never really know what you're getting in Dubai. So I'm a bit
Mm.
curious there because if they produce a turner, then Bangladesh could get into the equation. But yeah, I just don't see how they're going to do that. It's February, so it could happen actually, because they had the ILT20, so the pitches could be
Yep.
tired. You never know.
Yeah. which
Um,
which brings the underdogs into the game a bit more if
yeah.
it's more unpredictable.
Yeah, but India's got a very potent spin attack as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly.
Afghanistan versus South Africa, I think yeah, it's a game of the group of death, and
Mm,
I fully expect this game. I have no clue as to what the game's result is going to be because it's in
mm,
Karachi, which
mm,
makes it a flat pitch. So
mm,
you'd have to edge it towards South Africa, but I'm not really
mm.
sure. I really doubt that they're going to be comfortably winners.
Yeah, I'd heard that South Africa, since the 2023 50 over World Cup, have had the poorest record in one day cricket, except for England. So they haven't been doing that well. But lots of nations don't play their first teams in bilateral tournaments, so it's very hard to judge. And I think this South Africa side should have too much for Afghanistan myself. I think South Africa will win.
Yeah, I would not put them down as comfortably as winners,
Mm,
but I would say
mm,
that this game they might just have a shot at winning. But I'll still
mm.
go for Afghanistan, because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
backing Afghanistan not all the way, but to a certain extent. So
Okay.
the next game is the Ashes light version that
Yeah.
happens in Lahore,
Yeah.
and again it's a very inevitable kind of answer which
Mm,
I'm getting here because
mm,
Lahore is supposed to be a bit slower than Karachi,
mm,
and I just don't see how England are going to stand up against Zampa and Maxwell in pitches
mm.
which are in a pitch which is not going to be very quick.
Yeah. I mean, Australia are depleted, so that adds. You have to factor that in. Normally, you would just say Australia straight away.
The
The fact they're a
replacements
bit.
are quite good, aren't they?
Yeah. What people like Spencer Johnson or guys like that.
IPL
Um,
starters, I mean.
yeah. Yeah. I think Australia, but it's possible England could win that, but I think Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, So the next game is the one which the entire tournament is made
Yeah,
for, and there is
yeah,
no. It's just a cash
yeah.
making operation around which they've put on a mockery of a tournament, and that
Mhm,
is what it is. So Pakistan versus India. I think that I have not seen a very compelling India Pakistan game except for
mhm,
the 2022 one.
yeah.
Other than that, I have really not had a game where you've got both the teams like having
Mm,
competed till the last 2 3
mm,
overs. It's
yeah.
been like India's been the victor most of the time, but
Mm,
even in the 2021 game where Pakistan won, it wasn't like India put up a big contest or something.
no,
It was a one-way ticket to for India towards X2 and from the tournament. So I think I expect India to win this because I just think that it's in Dubai and India is just
mm,
going to come out top.
I agree. I actually think it would have been a trickier one in Pakistan, like you say. In 50 over white ball tournaments, Pakistan tend to lose to India, don't they?
Yeah,
I don't think Pakistan have ever beaten India in a 50 over World Cup. They have obviously have in
eight
T20 World
zeros
Cup.
the record.
8-0, yeah, wow. So I don't, yeah, I think India will win this, but I still think Pakistan will go through as second.
Yeah. Okay, so Bangladesh versus New Zealand. No point really dwelling on this, is
No,
there?
I just
Because
think
yeah,
New
it's
Zealand. They're
it's New
really
Zealand.
they're a much better side.
Australia, South Africa. Now this is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
It's in Rawalpindi. How's the
Mm.
pitch in Rawalpindi? Do we have any news about that? Is it going to be similar to the ones they produced against England or something?
It's gonna be a flat one. I think it's not going to be like those ones that turned massively in the last two tests against England.
It
I
might just
think
be the most compelling game of the
yeah.
tournament. Australia versus South Africa.
I mean, Australia are depleted, but South Africa do have a mental issue when they play Australia. They just have this mental issue in tournaments against Australia, and it's a psychological thing. They tend to lose to them. I mean, even Tembavuma was saying, "I'm upset we've got Australia in the World Test Championship final." You don't normally say those things out loud, but they just have an issue with Australia, I think, and I wouldn't be surprised if Australia won. I still think South Africa will probably win this one, but if it was in the semis or final, they would lose it.
Yeah, I would go for Australia for this game.
Mm,
I just if you had a fully fit,
mm,
raring to go South African side with Andre
mm.
Nokia and all those people, then it definitely goes to South Africa. But I just see Australia going through with that.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, so we've got Afghanistan versus England next game, which is going to happen, unlike all the
mm,
fuss that's been around it.
yeah.
And yeah, I am being upfront about it. I think Afghanistan is going to resoundly beat England in that game.
So you think it's a comfortable win for Afghanistan?
Yeah, because it's happening in Lahore and it's going to be a slow pitch, anyways.
I, I think England will win that either by 3 wickets or about 30 or 40 runs. I think that's the one game they'll win in the tournament. I think
Yeah. I
I think
mean,
yeah.
it just feels a bit. I wouldn't bet against Afghanistan in this tournament for the simple reason that they've got a simple template, like I
Mm,
said in the last episode. They're going to come up top with Gurbaz and Akhil, whatever his name is, and they're going to
mm,
score around 300. And then they've got Allah Ghazanfar, Mohammad Nabi, Rashid Khan, Mujibul Zadran, and all. Like so many spinners, and they've got also Fazal Farooqi. So I just don't see how, if they get to bat first, they're definitely winning the game.
yeah. The issue is, what if they don't bat first, and what if their openers don't make
If
runs? And
there's
I
dew
think
in the
England.
second innings and they don't get to bat first, then or if there's no dew in the second innings and if they
Mm,
don't get to bat first, then maybe it's going to be a problem.
yeah, I think I'll go for England on that one.
Okay, so we've got Pakistan versus Bangladesh again. Like no point talking about
Yeah,
that. Pakistan's
Pakistan will
winning that.
win. Yeah.
Afghanistan versus Australia. Now this is the only game where I do not expect Afghanistan to win. So yeah, I'll go for Australia.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go for Australia there. I just think Afghanistan, they're decent but too limited, and I think even though Australia are depleted, they'll win.
Okay, it's a bit personal for me as well
Mm,
because I love the Afghanistan side and I just like to see them play because you've
mm,
got just 2 3 teams which are making a real shot at the
yeah.
semi-final. So you've got a new team which is constantly punching about above its weight.
Yeah.
So I just love that. And you've got South Africa versus England next game. So what do you think of that?
I think South Africa will win that. I think they'll have. I think they'll have too much for England, and I think that'll be quite a comfortable win for South Africa.
Yeah, I go the same. I just say
Yeah,
South Africa for that one.
yeah,
Then you've got New Zealand versus India, and yeah, India. Just
yeah. I mean, New Zealand are decent, so they could beat India. That'll be one of
if
the best games of the group. I think
if the
of the
pitch starts
mm,
seeming, because it's in Dubai, so it could, then they have a shot at it. But I I think that India is going to win it unless it's
mm,
going to be a seeming pitch.
yeah. I think India, but that is a good game, and I'll make sure I watch that one.
Okay, so we've got the semi. We've already said the semifinalists. My semifinalists are India, Afghanistan, Australia, and Pakistan. Yeah, in
Yeah,
India wins and Australia wins, and India Australia final, and India wins. That's how it goes for me.
yeah. I see. I just had one slight difference. I had Australia and South Africa rather than Australia and Afghanistan. But I see India beating who would probably be second in that group. Uh, India beating South Africa or Australia, whichever one's top, and beating them in the final as well. Uh, so yeah, I can't see beyond India really. I mean Pakistan, they're at home. They get to the that if they do play India in the final, it won't be in Pakistan. So if Pakistan do get there, which is possible, they won't have home advantage in that final, and
Yeah.
I think India will win. This India white ball side is very good. It's there might be a bit of a gap there, like a bigger gap than in other formats of the game. So they've been probably been the best white ball side. I know they didn't win the World Cup, but they've probably been the best white ball side for a while now, and they're getting more and more dominant. I think so. There is a bit of a gap between them and some of the other countries. T20 is different, Tests are different, but in 50 over cricket, I think they're by far and away the best side.
Okay, imagine that the final happens between India and Pakistan, and
Mm.
Pakistan go on to win it, and then they India stays in Dubai for the presentation, and Pakistan take the trophy and go back to Pakistan. I was thinking about this scenario. How hilarious would it be? Because you definitely want them to take the trophy back to Pakistan, right? Because the
Yeah,
tournament is in Pakistan. India
yeah.
is there in Dubai, so you'd have a remote kind of presentation, final ceremony, and all that. So it would be quite funny to see that happen.
Yeah, that would be quite funny, and it will be a repeat of the final last time round. What 8 years ago now at the
Yeah,
Oval,
yeah,
Pakistan
that
India.
was
So that'd be
painful.
quite yeah, but I think that's quite possibly could be the final. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's get on to our teams which we had made. This is
Mm,
basically the best 11 of players which have played the Champions Trophy. So, yeah, that's
mm,
about what we have tried to conjure up here. And I'll go with first pick and then Adam will go. So, my first
mm,
pick is as an opener, Gale,
mm.
Chris Gale. Just speaks for himself. He scored what? Let me just check his record. He scored at an average of 790 runs or something, which with a strike rate above 100. So yeah, and he's the highest run scorer in two editions. So yeah.
Yeah, I was the same. I went for Gale. I just think in the modern white ball game, obviously mostly in T20, I suppose he's almost invincible there, but in 50 as well, I think it's very hard to pick an 11 of the last 20 years without Gale opening myself. Um, However you pick it, I think Gale's in there. He could
Okay.
also bowl a bit of spin as well at a time. By the end, he'd stopped it, but very good player. Could also catch a slip. Um,
Talk to female anchors as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very good at interviews as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He was in my side.
Yeah. So I've got Shikhar Dhawan as my second pick. Again, like it goes without saying for me. He's got like two man of the tournaments for the Champions Trophy, and he's called Mr. ICC back here. So yeah, he played. He scored something like 20 or 30 or 50 in the 2013
Mhm.
Champions Trophy final, from what I can recall. So yeah, it has to go to him.
I went a bit differently. I had a real problem because Shane Watson's got such a good record in ICC trophies.
But haven't
And
Australia not won even one Champions Trophy?
they did win one. so he's okay there. No, they
Oh,
won two actually. They won two, so he's fine. Um, so I was thinking of him, but I didn't in the end. I was thinking of Darwan. I was even thinking of Sharma just to annoy you, but I decided to promote Tenduka to open because I wanted. I've had a good number three and a number four, and I couldn't. I wanted to fit Tenduka in somehow, so I went for Gale and Tenduka.
okay. So I've got you've just spoiled your picks. I went for Kohli at number three, and there were not many contenders for that position. You
Yeah.
had Jayawardene, but in ODI cricket, you'd not look past Kohli, right?
Unfortunately, I have. I've gone for Jacques Callis.
Okay.
There's a bit of a difference. He could also bowl as well.
You can play Jack Callis at number five as well. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
suppose. I think because he's a bit slow. He's a bit slower, a lot slower than the other ones. I wanted him. If he was going to come in for me, he had to be number three.
okay. So I've got Ricky Ponting at number four. Again, like he'd be my captain because he's got such a fantastic record in ODIs and a very good batter as well. And he's got like 45, an average of 45 in the Champions Trophy. So yeah.
I went for Lara. He won the ICC Champions Trophy in 2004, and he's the best batsman since Bradman. So I've just got to have him in. So I've
Okay.
gone for Brian Lara.
So for the same rationale you had Callis, I have Callis as Callis at number five because I
Okay.
think he's best suited to playing there.
I've gone for number five, Jaiwadina.
Okay.
You mentioned him earlier. Really top.
Can Jayawardene really play quicker than Callis?
I think he can. Yeah, Canis was comparatively slow. Really, I think Jaiwadina can play quicker.
Okay. I mean, Callis had a lot more IPL gigs than Jayawardene. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got Yuvraj Singh at number six because this was in the 2000 knockout when it was called the
Mhm.
knockout tournament, not the
Yeah,
Champions Trophy. And the
yeah,
MS Dhoni documentary, which came out in 2016, it kind of illustrates how good he was in that tournament because he was what 18 or 17 and he
yeah,
was like the star of the tournament so early on in his career. So just have to pick him.
yeah. I've actually gone for Dhoni at six. I needed a keeper. He had a good record in white ball cricket, full stop, and he's also a good captain. So I had Dhoni at six.
Okay. I Has he got a very good record in the Champions Trophy? I mean,
Not in
he's a
particular. I
Champions
think
Trophy
he was
winning
captain when they
captain,
won
but
it.
yeah,
Yeah, he captain when they won it. When he won it, he defended a very low total
yeah.
against England comparatively. So
The
had to
pitch
manoeuvre
was
the
like
bowling.
very favorable to bowling as well. That is,
Yeah, that's true. But I think he did well to hold his nerve and to marshal the troops.
yeah,
And in the
that's true.
semis, he got a wicket. He came on and bowled. So that was
Yeah.
he had like loads of strings to his bow.
Okay, so I've got Gilchrist at number seven as my keeper.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, he does not have a very striking record in the Champions Trophy. He's
mm.
got an average of 37, but you've not got better keepers to pick, so I'll just pick him.
I've gone for Chris Cairns at seven. He scored 100 in the I think it was a 2000 final against India, won the match, and he was such a good all rounder, as good as most others really. If you compare him to other people, a better bowler than Callis, not as good at batting, a better than Andy Flintoff, a better bowler than Stokes, not quite as good at his batting when he was at his best. Just a really magnificent cricketer, and
Better fixer than Tony as well.
yeah, but my friend went to his court case in Southwark. Cairns was cleared, but Vincent was charged. But it didn't look great. Some of the stuff said about Cairns, but he was actually cleared. But there were some question marks, weren't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's very apparent in how, if you just go through a bit of his career and all that, you'll realize that he is just, he's not a very clean man. That's all I'll say. Okay, so I've got Daniel Vettori at number eight because, first of all, he's got a really good record in the Champions
Mm,
Trophy and he complements my side really well.
that's a good one. I've got a spinner at eight as well. I went for Ashwin.
Oh, yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I think his bowling, he can bat as well, a bit like Vittori. But yeah, I think it made sense. He's won the tournament as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've got Murli at number 8. Just another spinner because you can never have enough of those. So I'll have him at number 8, and then just at number 9, and then look for two other seamers, I guess.
Yeah, I've gone for Murali as well. He was just uh, in the. I don't know how many Champions Trophy Warren actually played, but I think Murali's the best spinner to play to play that many Champions Trophy games. I think, um,
Yeah.
and it can be unplayable really.
Okay, so my two frontline seamers are Malinga and Brett Lee, yeah, because they Malinga is the highest wicket taker in the Champions Trophy, and Brett Lee is like the second highest wicket taker. It's really just that I've not seen any live edition of the Champions Trophy except for 2017, so I've got not much to speak from here, not much live experience. So I'm just banking on Stats Guru here. So yeah,
I was very close. I went for Malinga and McGrath.
okay.
Malinga, a bit like Gale, is a like Gale, like Butler. These are white ball legends, and they've been in lots of teams, in both formats. And McGrath, I went for over Lee just because I think McGrath's a better bowler. I know Lee's got a better record, but I just think McGrath was a better bowler, so I put him in. So I was kind of biased in that way.
Yeah, I was looking at the record and I also saw McGrath, but I just thought that you'd rather have Lee because he's not as exciting, right? McGrath, at least not to me, because I just cannot
Lee's quicker,
comprehend.
yeah,
Yeah, I cannot comprehend how someone like Glenn McGrath can be so successful. You look at Curtly Ambrose bowl, you
yeah.
you can understand that yeah, this guy's sexy and he's going to get wickets, but you look at McGrath, he's bowling 130 kph. He's not really bowling bouncers. He's just bowling one line, one length, and it just does not sit well with me that he's got this many a gazillion wickets and he's like troubled so many batters.
Well, I'm sure his wife will say he's sexier than Curtly Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean it's hard because I have not seen him bowl live, and
Yeah.
the closest example of someone like him I've seen is Jimmy Anderson maybe, or
Mm.
uh,
Yeah,
Bhuvneshwar
definitely
Kumar,
similarity.
but
Yeah,
both of them have not been like the way I have heard of McGrath, so it's hard to kind of imagine that.
yeah. McGrath was lethal, and he was getting out top players. Not, guys like Lara, Tenduka, people like that. And they all found him difficult. So even though it might look that way, he's not just a guy. He's not like, say, in all due respect to him, Chris Wokes, who kind of needs English conditions and a bit of swing and cloud. He's just exceptional. Even though I suppose his action and his pace it looks unexceptional. His, you can't argue with those wickets and all the games he's won and all the people he's got out.
Would you be able to draw a modern day parallel with him, like somewhere near to him?
I suppose that your point was a good one. I think Anderson is the closest one, although I think he's better than Anderson. I know Anderson's got more wickets, but he did play more games. Anderson's a good call. Um, Limited in a sense, but high quality in what he does, and very successful.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Praveen Kumar, and yeah, just not many.
Mm.
There was this guy, right? Chris Tremlett, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe a bit similar to him, or yeah. Okay.
I suppose Tremlett got a bit more bounce, I suppose, because he's
Yeah,
bigger.
Tremlett was a bit more sexier, so yeah, yeah.
He's a
Okay.
muscle man as well.
Yeah, okay. Before I'm accused of being gay on this podcast, I'll just end it and we'll be back next week. Till then, see you.